talking, lot of crying. I think maybe too. If you're talking about John,
Worst day
a lot of tears.
ever.
John had some emotional tweets. A lot of emotional tweets today from John. John's not a big tweeter, but today I think his tweets per day jumps up today.
John must have had a lot of phone calls, tweets, texts. I mean, people must have been trying to.
John was going through the MGH directory this morning, calling every doctor in the book, trying to get any bit of information he could on Rob. Unfortunately, I don't think any of us got the information that we wanted. But anyways, what's up, guys?
You were up at like 6 a.m., right, John? I think you were up early trying to get.
He was up early. He actually didn't sleep. He didn't sleep. He didn't sleep last night, Josue. He was up all night.
He pretty much napped. It was like a 2-hour nap, I think.
Yeah, couldn't get much rest. He was worried about his I guess long lost son.
Yeah. You know what made it worse, Jimmy? You know what made it worse, Jimmy? Will Smith and Chris Rock. He's like, dude, that's not the biggest story of the day, okay? It's Robert Williams.
They did make it worse.
John's saying all day. Yeah.
They provided a slight distraction, I think, but in the end,
not for John. I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know. I'll let you guys do most of the talking.
The slap from Will Smith to Chris Rock was not even close to the slap that John received today with the Rob Williams.
You know what this is?
Slap across.
You know what
well,
this
first off, the chat
usually...
the chat got mad at me for being concerned, and now I have to deal with Rob being out too. You can't win. Can't win.
Do you think John? Do you think
hopped right on? Normally we warm up, but this is like our warm up right here. We're warming up right here.
John, do you think your negative energy last night, John? Do you think that contributed to the Rob Williams diagnosis? Overall?
I do think so. I do. Yeah,
I do too. Unfortunately,
I love how people equate concern with negativity. But yeah, that's good.
Yeah. It's more of negative energy, though.
It's energy. Oh,
so we need more fans down to a T.
We needed more positive vibes.
We did.
So
we did.
The day is terrible. It's the worst.
You won't find many tonight here on this show, guys. If you're looking for green goggles, unfortunately, Bobby Manning can't be with us tonight, so you'll have to wait until Wednesday for that. I don't think you're gonna get a whole lot of that tonight.
Yeah, this was bad.
He would have led with Tyson. Probably.
I'm being blamed.
Bad to guess.
No, he would have led with Corn. He would have led with Cornette.
He would have led with Tice. Got his ish blocked, and then he got Siakam, and that was it for Tice. But
yeah,
man,
there was
honestly,
some really good little engine that could vibes
there
the whole game, but just at the end, just watching them like try to get shots blocked. What the hell? I've never seen somebody airball from that close like White just did.
No. Okay, that one was bad, but that one was worse than the one that I was thinking of. But what was he thinking when there was literally 4 Raptors around him and he's going for a layup like like no no chick, just straight down like come on, man, you're going right
ran into 4 dudes.
No teammates around. Like you're gonna get your your shot blocked.
So White, I don't know who you guys want to blame the most in the fourth quarter of time. White, Grant, those 3 guys are my top 3 guys that just I don't know what happened. They ran out of gas or whatever it was, but a lot of boneheaded plays, bad turnovers, dribbling into human beings and turning the ball over, throwing it into a rim. Like you're right, John, that air ball layup, it was almost like he just got out of the gym and like you know how you take that shot?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm short arming it. I worked my tries today.
Yeah, right. You just
and it's always that it's always
3 feet short.
The first few you airball after an arm workout, you airball them by like 8 feet. You're not even close.
You're not
like, okay.
That was what that was.
Yeah.
That was very difficult to watch.
Someone's got to show him a hop step, man. Sometimes he pisses me out. He just tries to blow past people. Like, man, do a hop step. Create some space before you go up, man.
I'll say honorable mention to Ime. I mean, dude, you had a timeout at the end of the fourth quarter. You didn't use it, and they got a turn, and they turned the ball over. You had a timeout at the end of overtime. You didn't use it, and they got garbage shots. So maybe draw something up, bud. I don't know. I mean, you got the timeout. Use it. It's not like you can just rely on Tatum or Brown or your superstar guys. You didn't have that tonight. So maybe draw something up. Get a little creative. Don't just give the ball to a guy out of the baseline and dribble into traffic and then turn the ball over. Grant Williams step back 3. Give me a break. Like that's. I know that wasn't what they drew up, but I mean it broke up that way.
Right.
So the blame pies cut up all over the place tonight. This was a game that we didn't think they had a chance of winning before it started, and then it was very clear that they did, and then they squandered it at
And
the
then
end.
they made
and
us
that was
mad,
a frustrating. Yeah, they drew us in, and then they broke our hearts.
Who would have cared if this was a 25-point loss? Nobody.
Nobody.
But yeah,
we wouldn't be talking about it. But now we're frustrated.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll give them credit for putting up the fight the way they did. I mean, it was an entertaining game for sure. But you don't have at the end of the day, you don't have the closers, and it showed. You know, when you needed the closers tonight, you literally didn't have them, and nobody was able to even really string together good possessions in these games. They did need Schroeder. Good call. They missed Schroeder tonight. This is a Schroeder loss tonight. This is a loss because they didn't have Schroeder. Simple as that. Put that in the loss column.
Shooter X. The guy who shoots. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could chalk it up to that, but also the Celtics almost survived a game where Siakam was going to score 40. I mean, this is probably the best I've seen Siakam play since like the bubble before that series against the Celtics. Like, I haven't. Well, he's had some good games this year all around, but against the Celtics, it's been a while. And the Celtics almost won this game, or at least it seemed that way in that fourth quarter. And going into overtime, none of us felt good about this, and I'm sure most Celtics fans didn't either because they looked like they were gassed already. They looked like the gas light just came on, and it was just enough for them to squeeze out a win. And yeah, I'm with you, Jimmy. I was surprised that you didn't see Ime call a timeout there. I mean, Siakam makes both free throws. It's a tie game. I mean, I would like to see him draw something up in that situation.
Yeah,
draw something up. You know, like.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't mention this yet.
Right.
I'm pulling up the stats now because I want to see it because I know that it had to have been one-sided. But second chance points or like offensive or like things like that, I felt like so 24 second chance points for the Raptors tonight. No, I'm sorry, backwards. Okay,
No,
so I'll just
the other
shut up
way.
now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
It felt
now.
like the Raptors were getting a
No,
ton of
sorry.
like. Did it feel like the Raptors were getting a ton of like offensive rebounds and like second
three per possession?
But I guess they weren't cashing in on it, but it was just frustrating to watch.
Yeah.
It also felt like they were getting all these open threes that they couldn't make, but they were little by little, they were starting to go in. And
Van
of
Vliet
course,
hit
Siakam
a couple.
was lighting it up. Yeah, Van Vliet was ice cold. He hits a couple when they needed it most, and that was the comeback that they needed. I feel like the Celtics were like, oh, no, it's a one-point game now, you know?
But they were doing their damage in the paint, which you kind of assumed they would without, Horford and Rob tonight, and, even the guys like Tatum and Brown who are solid defenders. 66 points in the paint, which is, a pretty big number. And again, commendable effort by Ty. I thought Tice was having a great game, like I said, up until the very end. But they're only as big as they are. Tice, Grant, those guys, they can only do so much with what they've got. Cornette did some things out there too. But again, you're a little bit limited when you don't have two of your starting bigs. I mean, it's simple as that. I mean, we're going to get into Rob's diagnosis in a bit, I'm sure, but you got your first taste of it tonight. Right. Obviously, it was exponentially worse tonight because you were literally. This was a game that this was a scheduled loss, but they didn't even anticipate going to overtime tonight. But it's hard to break down this. I don't. We can't really spend a whole lot of time breaking down this game because it's literally 4 players that weren't even on their team.
We'll bring Sherrod in. John, by the way, Sherrod's winning.
I know. I see him. I'm having some of my own issues. I see the guy. Look at him.
Okay. All right.
He's got great seats.
I love Toronto.
From the 6.
Can't hear.
I love Toronto.
Nice.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you. Yeah,
we
got you.
Okay. No, Jimmy,
you love Toronto?
Jimmy, I was like, I love Toronto, and I hate your take about Schroeder. I hope you're being like a smartass about that, saying this was a Schroeder game.
I was because somebody commented. It was a comment. Okay. It was just a comment. It was just a comment.
Thank you. Because I just caught the tail end.
Don't come in that hot. Don't come in that hot.
No, wait. I didn't know that was your take, Jimmy. I was gonna say. I thought that was a.
That's just playing off John's stupid comment that he posted. That's all. I wasn't.
Which one?
Actually,
no.
Batman
about Schroeder.
Schroeder.
Oh no, I've been glitching out for a while, so I can't. Whatever I put up there, I put it up there like 5 minutes ago, and like I'm on such a massive delay.
It's all good. Sherrod, what do you got for us over there?
Well, I mean, the Celtics, this was a game that they had absolutely no business being in. And it was literally theirs for the taking. I mean, this is a game this looked like a lot of the games we saw in the early part of the season where they're playing well enough to win, but they just can't close it. But the difference is, back then, you had all the key pieces, and they just can get it done. Tonight, you're leaning on Nesmith, Grant Williams, down the stretch, you're not going to win a lot of games, let alone Tice. And those guys played great in the roles that they're accustomed to playing. But I think it was either John or Jimmy made the point, they needed that one closer, the one guy that could give them something. And look, it wasn't like they didn't have opportunities. I mean, Derek White missed a couple of easy shots at the rim. Marcus Smart missed some lightly contested to wide open shots down the stretch. Grant Williams turning the ball over. And again, as the game wore on, you could just see that the Celtics, they were losing some of that tightness that we saw early on as far as execution and things like that.
Well, yeah.
This isn't. You're not going to lose sleep over a loss like this. If anything, if you're the Celtics, you're encouraged because guess what? Sam Hauser can actually step on the floor and not destroy you.
I'm surprised when he misses.
I am too. He had. I thought he had a really good game.
Yeah. I'm not gonna.
He got 20 minutes out there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna get mad.
He didn't get his ass. No, he didn't. I mean, Sam, he didn't get his ass kicked on defense. That was my word. We know he hung in shots, there, but he hung in there. He was scrappy. Luke Cornett. I wish Bobby was here so that we could get praise Luke, but he's not, so we won't. So let's keep it moving.
No, moving on. Look, I mean,
he'll hope that he does it again.
I'm not getting mad about. I'm not getting mad about this loss. I mean, it's silly. It's just they drew you in, and when they had it, like I had a buddy I used to play cards with all the time, and anytime somebody would be in a hand that they weren't supposed to be in, and they he had this saying where he would just go, "No business. You have no business being in this hand. Like, what are you doing here? Why'd you stay in with those cards? No business." And so this was like a no business game. They had no business, keeping it close, having a 7-point lead late in the fourth. And just when you had it, you wanted it, but this was, it's hard to get into it. I mean, we'll put a quick bow on a couple of different things. Nesmith continues on his march, towards trying to kill himself.
And everybody in his way.
We'll just call it the death march.
Yeah.
That's what we'll just call it, the death march.
But, again, you have to
is a liability, man.
I thought that three was going to be the signature moment of the game that Nesmith hit. He's missed so many of those corner threes, and it's not even close. And he hit it, and you could see he was like, like he was so pumped.
And everybody was the same way. Yeah,
everybody was.
I don't yell like after big shots, but that one that actually came out of me a little. I was like, boom! I was like, yeah, like that was just a big shot that I was like, I really wanted that to go down, and it did. And that's why the loss is frustrating to me, because I actually at that point I was like, they're gonna steal this game. So that's why I'm frustrated. It's not because I thought that was
gonna happen. We've been begging for, you look for silver linings. We've been begging for those moments where it's like Aaron Nesmith is given the start, and we're like, okay, you get to play the role of Jaylen Brown today and shoot a bunch and do whatever you're going to do. And Marcus Smart, you get to be Tatum and you shoot 30 times today. Like, that's just what today called for. Again, I'm always looking for Nesmith to make more of his opportunity, but he's so spazzy out there, but it's like, you got to love the energy and the effort. He hits that three. He makes that great play at the end of the game out of bounds when he gets it and saves it and throws it over his shoulder.
Save,
So like those are useful minutes. And that's all you're going to hope for from him right now. So it was a good game. While you want to see him, I would have loved to see a 15, 18 shot game from him where he's looking for his own offense a little bit and he's finding open spots and relocating.
All right. It's not a preseason game. John.
No, but I mean, when he's starting and playing minutes, I want to see
when there's no starters in there.
Yeah, you'll take this 100%. If he can go out and play useful minutes, it's a useful piece. So, a positive step for Nesmith, because he did look, I mean, just what you were joking about it in text earlier in the game, you were like, this guy ain't it.
It was Aaron Ojale, I called him. He's giving you those offensive rebounds, second chance opportunities. He's giving you scrappy defense. He'll hit a three every once. I mean, that's Ojale, right? I mean, and this is a realistic role that he could carve out for himself, which would be awful. I just don't think. I mean, we talked about this about a month ago. I don't believe in the pie in the sky. He's going to be a knockdown shooter between now and the playoffs. That's just. I mean, that's stating the obvious, I feel like, but we've been having this conversation for 2 months now. I mean, he is who he is, but it's not going to be that knockdown shooter. Yeah, not this year, right? Not this year.
Yeah, I know.
He's a knockdown player, but he's not much of a knockdown shooter.
Yeah, fall down player. Sherrod, what were you going to say?
The Neesmith death mark continues. No, he the thing that I liked about him was that all that damn energy that he plays with, it seemed for a change, it was actually going in the right direction. It felt positive. It didn't feel like he was just running around, just banging his head against the floor and falling on the ground and just doing stuff to just scratch your head. Like, what the hell was the point of that? There was purpose with the way he played today.
Right.
But the guy who I thought really just uh, had a rough night was Pritchard. I mean, he became Peyton Schroeder out there tonight. Just could not do
Wow.
anything. Could not do
He
anything.
Unprovoked.
And
was.
again,
He was.
So
Mute this man.
unnecessary.
Mute this
he's
man.
had such a great run. He's had a great run of late. He's been one of their best players the last week and a half. But this game was horrible. And I was really disappointed because you knew going in he was going to get an opportunity to basically be their number 2 scorer. When you look at this roster, he's probably the next best thing to Marcus Smart. And he did make the most of the opportunity. I love the fact that he had 8 rebounds, but damn, I would rather he make 8 shots than have 3 rebounds and make 3 shots and have 8 rebounds. I don't need my point guard getting 8 rebounds, shoot 3 for 12. I just don't. So
No, him and Smart had 28 points, but man, 3 of 11 or 2 of 11 from 3. That's
he had no
not
choice.
great,
I'll see you, Sam.
either.
He had no choice. He had
He
no
was
choice. Who else
chucking
was going
them.
to shoot? Yeah, I mean, he was in Marcus
No, I
Tatum
know.
mode.
Fine with him taking them, but he was missing them. So that's my problem.
You're right.
I mean,
And that last one was huge because
but
that was a great look he got. That could have tied it.
yep. Yeah, I mean they were extremely limited tonight in what they were capable of doing on offense. So again, the fact that it even overtime is a minor miracle. But yeah, I mean there was that,
Says a
that
lot about
outside
Toronto
shot wasn't
too,
falling.
unfortunately.
Sure, that outside shot wasn't falling for either team, but Toronto was able to kind of find their way around in the paint, which I guess isn't that surprising when you look at who's missing for the Celtics. Yeah,
but that's why this game was just such a head scratcher. It's like Toronto should have won this game by 20, 25 points. If you look at who the Celtics had available and who Toronto had available. And the fact that they basically had to claw their way back just to get it to overtime, I'm a little nervous about Toronto in that damn playing game. I mean, if they find a way to get out of the playing game, I'm not convinced that this team can do anything other than be a first-round sweep for somebody. Because this was pathetic what they did out here today.
Yeah.
You don't let a team playing their second and third unit guys take your ass to overtime with your core guys. Come on.
should have beat them.
Yeah.
Should have beat them too. Yeah, you're right.
That's why I was impressed, honestly. I was impressed with what the Celtics were doing for the first 3 quarters. I mean, defensively, the energy was there. They were controlling the pace. Marcus, minus, what was he? Had like 5 turnovers. He was a little sloppy, but he was still it was efficient, in terms of getting guys the ball and keeping everybody on pace. Right, no, I'm talking about the first 3 quarters. But yeah, by the end, he had more than that. And then that fourth quarter, you finally get that cushion. You get this 7-point lead that you probably shouldn't have had. And Van Fleet, sure, okay, he makes you pay for it, but man, I just thought that completely took them out of it. I mean, they just looked gassed from that point on.
I'm done.
So it was tough, and John just
we
disappeared.
We lose John. I was just about to tell John that I'm done talking about this game too, but I can't hear Sherrod.
You know what happened?
He's muted, I think.
You know what happened? I think Sherrod. I think Sherrod's muted because John, the background noise, and then John disappeared. But
how's that? Can you hear me now?
I mean.
He's back. He's back.
Okay.
Hey, I'm on the show right now. Everyone's dropping like flies. Sherrod, we can hear you.
Okay. What were you saying? It's that kind of day, Jimmy.
No, keep going. Keep going, Josue.
No, I thought you were saying something when we couldn't hear you. But no, I mean, look, I just feel like this would have been an impressive win minus that collapse, of course, in the fourth quarter. But I mean, look, I don't know what Eamon could have drawn up in the end of that fourth, but you just didn't give yourself a strong chance when you don't call a timeout. I mean, look, you don't have a Jalen or Tatum that can with 12 seconds left go up on the other side of the court and pull up and hit the game-winning shot or at least tie it up. I just thought it was a good opportunity to call a timeout and draw a play.
Yeah, but this, I mean, at that point though, if you're Ime, you're thinking like, shit, let's just roll the dice. I mean, we've been playing with house money this whole game, but you're right. This game, it shows the value of having at least one late game ISO type player, guy that can go out and get his own shot.
Like a Schroeder.
Oh God.
Like a Schroeder.
Oh God.
Like an Isaiah Thomas, if you will.
Oh God.
Like a Schroeder.
I was looking for a Marcus game, one of those like 6 3-pointers, and
It was a Marcus game.
Nah, a little bit. It was.
It was a very Marcus game.
This was such a Marcus game. Damn,
well, when there's no Jalen and Tatum, there is. But I wanted the happy ending. That Marcus Smart usually comes up big at the end, and I knew it.
Don't we all?
All right. Anyways.
So glad I'm on mute.
Well, there won't be one tonight.
You got to pay extra.
It was a Marcus game, but what I wanted to be more efficient, I guess. So I'm trying to say.
Yeah. All right. So.
Oh, geez, what is this shit?
You want to talk more about the
what
game?
Happened?
Go ahead.
You got bad news? More bad news, Jimmy?
Did this just happen?
No, he said that pregame that Robert was going to have some type of surgery. It was just a matter of deciding which surgery he was going to have.
Yeah. No, Jimmy's messing around. We were wondering that we've wasted 20 minutes on this exhibition game here, which is a bummer because they could have won. But I mean, the real story is the real story is the real story. So we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to come up and talk about it earlier, so here we go. Everyone knows meniscus tear, weighing surgical options. It looks like the options from whatever Twitter doctoring we can figure out here is some sort of meniscus trim versus full repair. The trim surgery possibly returns you earlier. It's not really as much a choice as it is how it's torn, where it's torn, what the best course of action
if it's
is.
loose.
Then it comes down to a choice. We don't know anything, but we do know there is one path that could bring Robert back in the 4 to 6 week range. Celtics even put on their injury report. I think the date would be like April 25th or something, whatever that would be. So you're talking about beginning of round 2. There's that. That's the earliest, or there's the one where he's done for the year. It's a 3, 4, 5 month recovery.
I like the first option better. Why don't we just go with that one?
What we will say is Robert Williams comes over the top tonight and he tweets at somebody.
Your fingers are still working.
We're coming. It's coming. Whatever it is, like you bet on it, or I forget exactly what he said.
I'll look it up.
I have it here. It was he said, "Facts, my dog. Facts, my dog." Talking about someone saying Robert's coming back. Okay, facts, my dog. That's what he said in response to somebody who said Robert's going to come back quick. Yeah,
facts, my dog.
Facts, my dog. John Zannis reporting from the floor. John, what do you got?
Whenever you put my dog,
Robert Williams quote, "Facts, my dog."
It sounds. I
love
better.
it. I love it. But,
facts, my dog.
You're hoping that the path for him to come back similar. You're hoping that the shit.
There it is.
Damn, bro. All right, we get it, man.
Reporting.
This is reporting live right here, folks.
You're hoping that his path is similar to what Joel Embiid had. Right. You're hoping his return. You're hoping his path is similar to what Joel Embiid had when he had a torn meniscus, where he was back in no time. You're hoping to God that it's not Lonzo Ball like, where he's
Sherrod,
out indefinitely.
I hate to tell you, Joel Embiid missed one game, so I have a feeling it's not going to be.
I know
it's not going to quite be that.
But
level.
I'm saying somewhere in between those two parameters, hopefully a little bit closer toward Joel, is what you're hoping for. Because they need,
for sure.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. They need him if they're going to have any shot at making a deep playoff run. They're not going to do it without him. They just can't.
Yeah, no question. No question. Now look, it's the sky falling. I don't know. I mean, the first round, I think maybe the Celtics can put that together, but after that, I don't see any opponent where the Celtics, any situation where the Celtics could actually win a series without Rob Williams. It's just, I don't see that happening. I'm with you, Sherrod, on that one. But also, look, I also think the tear, how big it is, obviously going to be a big factor in this. But at the same time, you got to think about Rob's threshold for pain, right? I mean, in the past, I know we've made jokes about it before, right? Where Ime's even, it felt like Ime
that's been an issue in the past. That has been an issue in the past.
Yeah, Ime even threw a shot in a way, being like, look, guys need to sort of with injuries and nicks and that, how much can you?
You can't help the club from the top, Josue.
How much can you deal with the pain? And how much that
facts, my dog.
That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother conversation. You know what I mean? So I think it's tough, man, but it's not looking good. I don't know. I don't think it looks good.
Josue, what's
can
the
we just
best
tuck
ability?
Facts My Dog away for the tournament next year? Can we just kind of tuck that away as one
Facts
of the
My Dog.
Facts My Dog?
Facts My Dog.
Tournament next year.
Josue, what's the best ability? Availability. That's what it is. Ime challenged him. He said some guys are kind of just playing a little bit hurt. Are you hurt or are you injured? Well, now he's freaking injured, Ime.
Now he's injured. You asked for it and you got it. Now, I will say this. There are levels to these tears.
Facts, my dog.
There are levels to these tears, boys. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. It sounds like Rob might have a grade 3.
Is that
I don't know.
Jimmy? Like, what the hell
this will be used. This will be used for Rob's surgically repaired knee. We're going in.
Every sprain is a tear to a degree. He doesn't have a sprain. He's got a tear.
Is a sprain a tear?
Every sprain is a partial tear. The point is
a hot dog a sandwich?
There's no grades of tears. It's torn. It's just where it's torn and how it's torn. Okay, but it's torn. He's a mess right now. He needs surgery. It's bad.
Yeah, but what level of torn
surgery.
Is it? What level of torn is it?
That's facts.
The one thing I'll say about a meniscus is you can actually get the meniscus will repair itself without surgery.
You don't even need a job to have a meniscus, right, Jimmy?
You don't. You can just say, hey. You can just say, hey, we're looking.
World, like 700 million people, right, Josue?
You don't even need to play sports to have meniscus surgery. Just do it.
Right.
You can just tear your meniscus just by being a, what do they call it, a regular person?
Yeah. How much time, Jimmy? How much time you spent on WebMD today?
A normie.
A good amount of time. If you check my Twitter from today, you'll know that I spent a good 30 minutes on a WebMD, and I am actually well versed in all torn meniscuses, menisci actually. If the plural form is menisci.
Oh God! Stop, Jimmy! Stop.
There are two menisci. There are two. And there's three levels of meniscus.
No, don't take a sip and keep saying what you're saying right now. No, take a sip and that's it.
There's 1, 2, 3. There's 1, 2, 3. It sounds like Rob might have a 2 to a 3 level here, which is not what you wanted to hear. You're hoping for a grade 1, but he's got a grade 2 to 3 in my estimation. And originally, I was hoping that it would just take a little rest and relaxation, ice, the old rice theory. Everyone knows the old rice theory. Rice theory. Yeah. But it looks like they're going to have to go with we're hoping is a minor surgery, which could be that 4-week range. Now, if it's 4 weeks,
listen, Doogie Howser, cut the shit, man. We
How long has this guy been talking for?
Exactly.
If it's 4 weeks, we're in business.
Yeah.
So
imagine
he gets the surgery.
If this dude was your doctor, can you imagine? Like, just the way you explain this thing, I don't feel good about this.
I don't know.
Dog, I'm getting this thing.
I walk in with this. I'm like, now listen.
You got that thing.
He's like, where are my toys?
We can
let me explain it to you.
We can do surgery today. If it all goes well, you won't have to amputate. But we can do it right
Doc,
now.
Get your intern. Doc, get your intern. Get him out of here. I don't need him right now. This is a serious matter.
I'm saying
the Celtics.
If he has surgery on Thursday, let's say minor surgery, 4 weeks with a little rehab, he's good to go for the second round. That's my professional internet research opinion.
But do we all agree that the Celtics can get out the first?
Jimmy, is this where you
can we all agree that the Celtics can get out the first round without him, though?
Is that thing what you do to grab toilet paper and bring it to you? Like you're in the bathroom and you reach out and you grab the toilet paper?
This is a little life hack, folks. Just a little life hack.
That's what I was thinking, but it looks like it's for like a 10-year-old. So I don't know if that's the case.
Just a little life hack here. I don't even have to drink the water. Just a little life hack, just easy peasy.
Yeah.
What if they're from Brooklyn, though?
I don't know where this came from.
So wait, here's a couple things. Again, we don't know enough to know what surgery is best for Rob. All I know is, what I'm saying is, you might, yeah. All I'm saying is, I want the one where he makes the best long-term recovery. If anything compromises anything just for him to get back in the short term, nope. I'm sorry. This is year 1 of a 4-year extension, and this is a guy who's just beginning his ascension here. You want to treat his meniscus like it's the most important thing on the planet, and
it's a meniscus. Though. It's not an ACL. It's not an MCL. It's a meniscus.
No, these things can get remove
the meniscus. You can remove that thing.
Yo, Jimmy, get away from that take.
How important can it be if you can literally remove it and still kind of like get by in life? It can't be that important.
Jimmy's gone from
getting by in life is one thing. Playing in the freaking NBA is a little bit different.
Right.
Especially
what
during the
if?
playoffs.
Listen,
Especially during
I'm
the
not
playoffs.
saying sacrifice your career here. All I'm saying is maybe do something. Maybe just do something to delay. Maybe you can just delay the surgery to the offseason and you won't make anything worse.
Round 1 next year is going to be hot guy versus menisc guy. That's what we have.
Menisc guy. That's
plural.
Yeah.
Menisc guy is also plural. Yeah. No, hear me out.
I don't know.
Joel Embiid played on a torn meniscus last playoffs, and we know it wasn't as serious. But the point, you can play on these things, and you're not always necessarily going to make it worse. You might make it longer to heal, but you can still play on.
But since we don't know, I just want the option that where Rob is healthier longer, and whatever
what
that
if they
is,
can
that's
win a
what I want to
championship
do.
this year, John? What if they win a
care.
championship?
No,
John.
I don't care.
Oh, John doesn't care about championships.
Have you seen an easier
I care about Rob.
I care about Rob too. I care about Rob winning a championship.
I care about people, Jimmy. Okay, we've got
You
hardware.
Don't.
I've got hardware.
You don't care about people. You called all these commenters idiots last night. You don't care about people. I won't let them forget that either.
I was emotional.
What happened last night?
I got upset.
You on the ledge?
A lot.
I was on the ledge.
He was off the ledge. He was off the ledge. He wasn't necessarily wrong, though. I have to give him that.
Anyway, come on.
Let me get some highlights. Hold on. Let's do this. Let me get some highlights. So, you brought Daniel Tice? You think he's going to be your Rob? He's not, guys. He's not. You say something like that?
No. What it was
what was. You said? What was your big take?
He said everyone should be very scared.
People were conflating concern with negativity. Stop being negative. We're not being negative. We're worried. This is a bad thing. So let's turn the conversation towards, now that we have definitive facts, can they win? How far can they go without Rob? Let's go with the no Rob. No return. How far can they go?
Second round.
That's it?
In my opinion. Yeah, that's it. I mean, look, you're running into the
I'm asking.
You run into the big dogs. You run into the big dogs after the first round. And this Eastern Conference, I mean, Rob is a huge piece of you beating up those big dogs. I mean, he's just that important to the defense, and offense is what's gotten this team this far, honestly.
They're gonna, I mean, they would need so many things to fall in place to get to the conference finals. They wouldn't. I just couldn't see. I can see a path that even without Rob, they could potentially get to the conference finals. But that's it. They would need certain things to fall in place that they have absolutely no control over. But they would be things that would be to their benefit. I could see that happening. But if you're talking about how far can they go on their own merit, if everything goes according to plan with every roster, they wouldn't get past the second round.
Yeah.
And I hate that because this team is.
It's hard for me to disagree with that.
It's like, but the reason they're so good is because all of the pieces fit so perfectly together, and Rob is a big part of that puzzle. And it sucks.
But that doesn't. And you know what else? You know what else, Roy? You know why it sucks? Because that doesn't. The way this team came together, this turnaround that I've never seen from any team before. This doesn't happen, And look, John, I know big picture is obviously most important, but and the Celtics do have him under contract, so it's not like they're worried about losing him. But man, if you can somehow find a way to get him back, I think you have to seriously consider it. I really do. I think this could be that 1 year where you can reach the NBA Finals. I'm not calling this team the Toronto Raptors of the the year that they won it all. I don't think they have their chance of winning a championship is there depending on who they're playing against the Western Conference. But man, with Rob in the mix, I really like the Celtics' chance of getting to the NBA Finals, at least reaching there. Winning it all will be one thing, but you're in really good shape of winning it all if you get there.
Right.
Or you have a good chance, good shot.
Yeah. You got to look at the long-term health of Rob. He's young and he's just beginning. I think he'd be insane. Look, Rob can make a decision what he wants to do, and if he wants to do something to bring him back earlier, and I also don't know for sure that whatever option brings him back earlier hurts him long-term. I just don't want him to get hurt long-term. So we have to wait and see. Right now we have two scenarios. There's one scenario that he does a surgery and comes back, which means if they can hold off to the second round, then you're getting Rob reinforcement. It's kind of like the Gordon Hayward situation from 2020. You'll get you gotta hold the line, and then you hope that you get him back. You did, but you got a really hobbled version of him, and it didn't really make much of an impact. I have no idea if Rob's coming back off of this jumping out of the gym and he's himself or not. So it's really hard to say. It's just a matter of can you hold the line long enough without Rob to be able to get let's say you had to get to the conference finals to see him, sniff action. Can they get there? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and are you going to get the Rob that we saw at the beginning of the season, who was out there but wasn't active, engaged, playing above the rim, doing all the just the freakishly athletic things that he's doing now? And if you're going to get that dude that we saw back in October, November, December, I would rather he just shut it down and heal and take that time to get his body right, because that guy we saw back then was not that impactful.
Nope.
The guy we've seen the last 2-3 months has been incredibly impactful. And if they have any shot of making a deep playoff run, which means getting to the conference final or deeper, they're going to need the dude we've seen, as close to the dude we've seen the last 2 or 3 months as possible.
And if the beginning of the season is something also that showed us that the chat and Celtics fans don't want to be told that Rob isn't jumping as high as he normally jumps. They want you to pretend he's jumping high. So if he comes back and he's not the same self, we have to act like he is, or else we're going to upset people. So
Wow.
that's something I don't. That's something I don't want to deal with.
Chat.
That's something I don't want to deal with either. No, it's right. The beginning of the year, Rob was not himself at all. It took him about 10, 15 games to get there. And we were like, oh, my God,
Facts.
what happened to this guy?
Facts,
and then all of a sudden he started doing it. And we were like, look at this freak of nature. There he is. We missed this guy. I don't know if you get that guy again this year, and that if you don't, I don't even know what the point of getting him back is. That's the thing. If you're going to get that early season version of Rob, it makes you better, no doubt about it. But it's the real bummer is like we finally all bought in, like not just bought in. It was like, I would have been shocked if they didn't make the conference finals the way they were playing, shocked. So they were just killing people. And I thought they were going to run the table and win the rest of their games. So, I mean, and finish as the 1 seed. It just interrupts that. Like, it was like, it was like make believe for so long. And it just kind of came crashing down.
Yeah, you're right. As soon as we
it was just a fantasy.
As soon as we committed to the team.
And I know Celtics are talking about it. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about online a lot. It is bad luck. You look at the injury history just going back with this team year over year, late in the year.
Every single year. Yep.
And the stuff that's derailing you, with Kyrie, you lose Hayward, you lose, obviously Jalen last year wouldn't have made a difference. They were kind of a dead ass team, but Isaiah and his hip and all of those things. It's just, it's been unreal, but this one rocked you. Who, I'll ask you guys,
curse, man. Thomas curse.
Who could they least, if you took everybody, pretend Rob was still in there, who's the guy that they could least afford to lose other than Tatum? Is it Rob? Is it Smart? Which loss impacts them the most if they lost a non-Tatum player?
Yeah. I think it is Rob, because he's such a linchpin to what you do defensively. He covers up all the mistakes that are made defensively. He a much better individual defender. And the one thing, and I was talking with a couple assistant coaches before the game about this, the thing that they've noticed about him is his communication skills. Rob's out there talking all the damn time, and it's a good talk. It's making sure everyone is where they need to be. There was that sequence the other night where Tatum had, caught that pass off the glass, and Rob, Tatum, kind of admiring the beauty of what he just did, and Rob's telling guys, get the F back defensively, and that's when Aaron Neesmith had that great block. And so that, to me, was one of those low-key examples where you're not going to see anything, statistically speaking, attached to Rob and guys like Marcus Smart. But those are the little things that make this team defense as great as it is. But the thing about Rob, as I said, his ability to not only guard his yard, but make sure that your yard isn't jacked up and trashed either. That's the thing that he brings to the table, that they just don't have anyone who can replace that. And we saw that tonight against Toronto. I mean, Luke Cornett and Tice, Grant Williams, they did a serviceable job. But there were moments where you could absolutely tell that Rob would have made that play and it would have been a positive one. That those guys just physically aren't capable of doing it. It's just not in their wheelhouse. But just conversely, there's things that they can do. But I would just say this: Rob's impact, you just can't replace it. You can cut and paste and patch it up, but it ain't the same. It ain't the same.
Right. Right, it won't be the
Yeah,
same.
and
It won't, and especially with someone like Rob, who can not only cover so many spaces, but he can guard the perimeter. It's not a worse thing if he gets caught up in the switches, where that wasn't the case a couple of years ago. There aren't a lot of bigs in the Eastern Conference that have that kind of flexibility. And yeah, to Sherrod's point, I mean, he's just him being flexible on defense. Guarding the opposing wing position if he has to at certain stretches. I mean, how do you replace that? How do you make up for that? I love what Tice brings. Don't get me wrong. Like I love the Tice deal because that's exactly what he was brought in to do, to be this insurance policy on Rob. So sure, you plug him in there, but he's not going to be able to, even with help from other guys, to make up for that production that you get from Rob. You can't. I think it's just a hole in the Celtics' defense right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Tice is your number 3 center, and if you look at the number 3 centers for most teams, Tice is as good, if not better, than most of them. So he's giving you what you need in the role that you have him cast in, but that doesn't make up for the fact that you have a first team all defensive team caliber player that you don't have uh, for at least the in depth, the near short term future. And how the hell can you make that up come playoff times? To me, it becomes a matter of the Celtics. They're going to have to outscore teams. They're going to have to be that team
Yeah.
that we saw at times early in the season that was trying to outscore teams, because they're not going to have the defensive capabilities to really lock up teams the way they want to. Because again, so much there's going to be, as much as we talk about the folks who are filling in for Rob, that perimeter defense is now under even greater pressure because their ability to keep guys from dribble penetrating into the paint is absolutely essential to this team having some semblance of staying one of the top teams defensively. Because right now, before, if you get beat off the dribble, Rob's pinning it on the glass. You get beat off the dribble now, you taking that ball out of bounds and inbound it because you just gave up a layup. So that's the difference that they are dealing with. And they don't. And again, there's no clear path that can get them in a place where they can move past Rob and it not be devastating.
And we already said it. Rob does things that literally nobody else can do on the court. So obviously you're going to have a hard time replacing him. Not to take away what Marcus Smart brings, but you could slide Derek White into Marcus Smart's position and still think that you've got a chance. You could, losing Jaylen Brown obviously would hurt too for what he gives you in offense. But again, Derek White could probably slide into that position, and you've got other, players that you can plug in, whether it's Grant or, you can mix and match. But when it comes to Rob, I mean, there's literally nobody, not just in the Celtics, but some players. He does things that nobody else in the league can do at times. With the way he's able to get around the court and just kind of show up out of nowhere and block you like that. And like you said, Sherrod, his communication out there is tremendously improved. So there's no sugarcoating it. I mean, it's a deflating loss for them, and we're just sitting here waiting to hear a legitimate timetable. I guess we have to wait and see once he has the surgery what they come out and say about it. So I do think the Celtics are good enough to get out of the first round still without him. I mean, it's going to be a dogfight, but these guys fight. I mean, they fought tonight, and they had nobody playing. So they're not just going to roll over just because one guy's hurt. I mean, guys rally around each other. I think they believe in each other a lot, certainly more than they did just in the beginning of the year. And tonight was a good sign that they're not, just going to roll over and die. They're going to go out there even when the odds are against them, and they're going to be a tough out. And they're still going to play hard on both ends of the court. Yeah, we're not going to see these 5-point blowouts, but listen, there wasn't going to happen once the playoffs came around. So everyone's going to clamp down, and it's still going to be a competitive game of basketball. But yeah, to your guys' point, once you get to that second round, the team, you're really playing the cream of the crop now, assuming, let's say, the top 4 teams end up in the second round, then yeah, you're going to need all hands on deck, or you run into teams that are dealing with their own injuries. That's still a possibility too. John's sad.
No, just like I said, it's right. What
Sad John.
What cracks me up is there's Toronto trolls in the chat taking victory laps over this game. That's embarrassing, guys.
Nice. That is
but
really
that's
embarrassing.
fine.
But it's been that type of season for Toronto. Like, this is a big win. This is one of their best wins of the year, I think.
Congratulations, guys. This was good. Their 2 best wins of the year was the 30-point win against Boston early in the year, and this one against Doogie Howser and friggin' Aaron Nesmith. Congratulations. Good work, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, he made it 3.
Yeah, Cornette.
Come on. He made 1.
Congratulations, guys.
This is a big win for
Toronto.
Toronto.
Too.
Toronto ain't going to be a team that the Celtics are going to be worried about in the second round. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
They just need to get.
And you guys
get out of the
make that for what
make
you
sure
want.
they stay out of the play-in scenario because they're like a game and a half out of being in the play-in. So they got much bigger fish to fry than worrying about doing backflips and cartwheels over beating Boston's second and third unit players.
Yeah.
In overtime. In overtime. At home. At home.
On the second night of a back-to-back, but I digress.
Yeah, right. Second back of a home road back-to-back. You guys really, really earned this one. So
who made that schedule, by the way?
I don't know. I guess the next thing we wait on is the next thing we wait on is what surgery, and then you can have more of a conversation.
Did I lose him?
I think we all did.
We all did.
Now you're back. Wait.
Nope, John. See ya. Deuces,
He'll
buddy.
come right back in.
I think what he was saying was now we just got to wait until we see what surgery he gets, and then we can then narrow down our expectations. I think. Listen, I'm joking. Obviously, I want them to. I know they're going to do the right thing. They're not going to put Rob in any danger of further injuring himself. But the hope is that just the first option is the one that they feel is suitable because, that would give you a puncher's chance. And you get right back. Yeah, is he going to be 100%? I don't know. I think we'll be close. Again, it's not an ACL tear. It's not an MCL tear. I think you can come back from these. And we saw Embiid do it a couple times already. He's torn his meniscus twice in his career. And the guy's a MVP favorite right now. So it's not a career-threatening type injury, but certainly you want to take the proper precautions. It's just the timing of it. If this happened 2 months ago, I don't. Obviously people are going to be bummed up or like, okay, yeah, like go through your rehab and we'll see you in 6 weeks or whatever it is. But it's the timing of deal with it's almost like it's a race against time. You wish you had like the NHL season where they had to pause it for a couple weeks because I think hockey goes to like the end of April, regular season. But we've only got 2 weeks left here in the regular season now. I think it's April.
Yeah, 2 weeks
April
from
10th
Wednesday.
is their last game.
Yeah, 2 weeks from Wednesday.
So there you go. I mean, just like that.
And they closed the season out on a 3-game road trip, which is fun.
Against tough teams, too.
Yeah.
Was it like Milwaukee?
Yeah. So
they'll make it against Memphis,
Yeah, they'll make it. You guys hear me all right? Sorry.
Yeah, we can.
Unfortunately,
they'll make a decision, and we'll have an idea. We got Miami Wednesday. You should have everyone but Rob obviously back then. So we'll see what happens with that game.
I don't know what's up with Al. Hopefully he's back. They certainly
big mystery.
They certainly need again like another guy that you didn't even think about tonight that wasn't playing. But yeah, they need. I don't know what the deal is with him. Hopefully it's all good. But
yeah, you guys,
they're gonna need him more than ever.
You guys got anything?
And that's
left
the other
tonight?
crappy thing. Well, the other crappy thing is you thought you could maybe rest Al down the stretch a little bit. Now it's like he's going to be doing double duty out there. I don't know if they're going to still try to rest him.
Yeah, but I still give him a couple games off, just because you want him to be really fresh for the playoffs. Now you want to because Al's playing over 30 minutes now. That wasn't the case with Rob in there, So now he's going to play over 30 minutes in the play. Those are playoff minutes, So that's going to be you want him to be fresh. So I wouldn't mind the Celtics. I want to see him against Miami. I think it's a great test for the Celtics, especially without Rob. And moving forward, maybe one of those final games you sit him. Maybe not the Memphis game, but one of those games.
The best thing going on right now is the Toronto people here calling the Celtics trash after this game, and
they're salty about the bubble.
And convinced that like there's whining going on with the loss of one player. No, okay, I'm gonna call you guys dummies. I'm sorry, no dummies. With Rob Williams, the Celtics were beating every NBA team by 30 points. Okay, so I mean,
look it up.
You literally just squeaked by a win over the guys who were frigging unemployed a week ago. I mean, you gotta get over yourself. You beat
John.
You beat a Vegas team. No, these guys are pumping their chests out. This is you beat the Summer League Celtics guys. Oh my God.
Come on.
Yeah. It's just my
Knock
God.
it off.
It's so funny. So I don't know. We've had a long day. It's a back-to-back.
Emotional day.
Sherrod traveled to another freaking country. So we're gonna wrap it up unless you guys got anything else to add here.
No, I got nothing.
All right.
I'm just gonna say, commendable effort tonight. I'm not ready to throw in the towel. I'm waiting. I'm gonna wait to see what the official timeline recovery is for Rob. At this point, though, seeding is the seeding. I'm kind of with you guys. I mean, I before Rob went down, I was like, let's play for the 1 seed. But I think now you just got to make sure that everyone is rested and ready to go for the playoffs. And whatever matchup you end up with is what you end up with. And then you got to fingers crossed that Rob might be a part of it. So that's where I'm at. Wednesday's still going to be a fun game. I mean, the Heat are dealing with their own issues, and they're internally, I guess, fighting with each other. It sounds like. So that's going to be a fun game regardless. So
some slapping going on over there too.
Yeah. Sherrod, final thoughts from the arena?
Right.
So Josue, leave Will Smith out of this, okay? All
right. You missed my joke earlier, man. I got him lined up.
Yeah.
Keep Will Smith out your fucking mouth. Ooh, I wasn't trying to say that word. My bad. We'll bleep that one out. We'll bleep that one out. That one actually slipped. We didn't have the Oscars.
Yeah,
there.
No, we didn't. No,
listen. Well, speaking of Miami, Mike Lowry showed up last night. But sorry, go ahead, Sherrod.
No, I was just going to say that the Heat, regardless of who is in either lineup, they're going to play tough. They're going to play hard. They're not going to just let you roll over them, and that'll be a good test for the Celtics. I mean, particularly if you have Tatum and Brown back, to see what can your big two do against that team when you don't have Rob. Because I still want to see how can the Celtics navigate without Rob when they got the rest of their core together. Can they make that up? Can Al be, the Band-Aid that they need? Can Tice give them a little something? Can Luke Cornett get in there and give you like a good 5-10 minutes? How can their core group, when they're together, work without Rob? I want to see that, and they need to see that because we don't know how long this thing is going to be. Because even if, let's say, by some, just mere act of God, and Rob is able to come back in the next week or so, which I don't think will happen. But let's just be real overly optimistic. He's not going to hit the ground running. He's not going to be the guy that we saw, playing above the rim. It's going to take him a little bit of time to get back into the flow of things. And they need to figure out how can they be successful and be impactful when he's not on the floor. Because they need to know that before they get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's why the Miami Heat game is a great test for them. Because that team is going to challenge you.
So let's see how that goes.
You know what?
Wednesday.
You know what, guys? Real quick, I just want to point out. Let's keep an eye on Payton Pritchard because I loved his approach in this game. It wasn't great. Look at the box score. It's not great. 8 rebounds. That was eye-opening a bit. Jimmy, that's not annoying. So you can, thank you. Stop. But I want to see him continue to score without having to rely on making 4 or 5 3-pointers. And look, I know that's obviously what he's been doing when he has big games, but he's getting to the rim. He's blowing by people. He's just not finishing. And it's driving me crazy. I don't know if he's trying to get more contact. I know Derek White was doing that, a lot. But for me, it's just Pritchard. He's getting there. He just can't finish. So I think that's something that I'm keeping an eye on him because I think that they're going to need all the offense that they can get off the bench. Obviously, we've been saying that all year long. But, I mean, without Rob, it's going to be interesting to see how this team transitions offensively as well without having him there. So
everything sucks, okay?
Sucks, in other words.
And then you die.
Yeah.
Sucks. But we'll see what happens.
Watch.
We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Look, the one upshot here is it's not going to be as good. So there's no reason to wait for it. The difference is, Jimmy, sit up. We got like 2 more minutes.
I'm right here, dude.
Like,
I'm listening. I'm listening.
You ducked below the banner.
Yeah, I'm trying to disappear for a second because I'm listening to you. I'm listening to your Celtics obituary, so I'm trying to.
Jimmy's got his binder ready. He's got all his stuff. He's just ready for the bell.
I thought it was in a counseling session, dude.
Let the teacher finish.
The way you were talking.
This is why homeschooling does not work.
It does not work. You got this kid. You gotta tether him.
I need recess.
You lose the etiquette. You lose the. There's a lot.
You gave me locked down here all day. I need some recess, dude. All right, go on, John. Everything sucks. The Celtics are going to lose.
The only upshot here is it's not going to be as good, but every player in the last 30 games has leveled up, which means that's the only difference there. Just looking at those guys without Rob, you'd say, well, it's going to be hard. He's a huge part of the team, but everyone leveled up. Every single player on the team has leveled up. So now they're just one of the best. I mean, they were literally they're beating playoff teams by 25 and 30 points. So is Rob worth 30 points? No. So again, they're still going to be super competitive, but it's just going to be, the burden's going to be a lot of Tatum and Brown right now. So they're going to have to carry it. That defense the defense is going to go from like ridiculous, like 94% defensive rating to like 94 to like 100, which is still ridiculously good. It's just not, they were special. And that's the bummer, is like, it was starting to get special and you lost that, and that's the bummer.
I'm with you.
But you know what they get now?
Yeah.
Now we're going to look back in those 2 months, years from now, for sure.
They're going to be able to feed off some doubters now. And I'm looking at John Zannis in the top left corner. There's going to be a lot of John Zannises out there right now when it comes to Celtics. They were getting a little too comfortable, maybe.
Where am I?
Oh, now he's in the bio.
No.
He's all over.
Where'd I go? Where'd he go?
You know where you go.
There's going to be a lot of Boomer Johns out there writing this team off, and I think they're going to use that as fuel maybe. So they're going to have to rally around each other. Let's see how tight this group really is. If they can rally around each other and play some inspiring basketball. We saw it, this is a few years back, but when they lost Kyrie, what happened? They really banded together. And it's a different team, of course, but
they hated him. They like Rob.
Allegedly,
Everyone
yes.
That's the thing, is like, even Tatum said earlier in the year, we're going to go as far as Rob takes us. They know how special he is. They're going to be bummed out too.
Of course they're going to be bummed out, but they're not going to, if they're professionals, they're not going to go crying in the corner and saying the sky is falling. They're going to go out there and play basketball. So we'll see.
The sky's falling. All right, we're going to wrap it up. We're back on Wednesday. I'm out. Jimmy's out, but Bobby is back, so that's good news. You get a big, healthy dose of optimism, and hopefully 4 starters return.
Which would be phenomenal if that happens.
Yes,
Be
phenomenal. And they're in the final
four.
If he drops a phenomenal, that means the Celtics won.
We're in the final 4. It's Marcus telling the Garden Report and Sherrod to go screw. It is Brockton Wi-Fi. It is
Wi-Fi. Legendary.
It is phenomenal, and it is Jimmy's fart.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow, Jimmy's fart is still in it.
I'm going Marcus, and Brockton. Whoever wins it all. I'm saying that right now.
We actually got one of each of us is being represented, which is pretty good. I think it's going to be phenomenal versus Brockton Wi-Fi. That's my prediction.
All right, we'll see what happens. All right, guys, we will see you on Wednesday. Thank you.